Libs of TikTok, a well-known liar. They said, breaking, the group of leftists that doxed me found my house, and they threw eggs, paint, and dog feces at my home. They were chanting gays rule while destroying my property. I was literally attacked by a woke mob. Why would someone do this? And the reason why they said this is because they made it the fuck up. None of this is true. And the way that you could actually very easily tell, this isn't their house. If you Google image search greenhouse egged, that's the results you get. They literally just Google searched greenhouse egged, stole the images, tweeted them pretending that they were their house, and saying there was like a woke mob that was chanting gays rule and destroying their house. None of this happened. It's not their house. This was, let's see, this one's from Kansas City, this one's from Cleveland. They're literally different houses. Or was this like two different articles? Either way, they lied about the house, which is kind of crazy. Why would you just lie about your house getting egged? It's because they don't care about truth. They don't care about facts. They care about stirring up outrage. This was the same account that went off of a rant about gay people, demonizing gay people immediately after the Club Q shooting. I think it's pretty safe to say they just want gay people to suffer. That is their end goal, and they don't care about lying in order to achieve that end goal. It's despicable. All right, so now getting into the real drama, Libs of TikTok stole my content, and people in the comments got really triggered about it. The way that they phrase this is trans activist claims that transgender people can change their biological sex, which is, by the way, a phrase that I don't even say in this video.
Can trans people change their biological sex? Let's talk about the science of trans biology. Clinicians and biologists understand sex as a composite variable, one that has many attributes, including chromosomes, reproduction, hormones, and anatomy.
This is just factual. There are lots of different sex categories. We recognize that somebody with, say, Swyer syndrome can have a chromosomal sex that is different than their other sex categories. So, you know, like your chromosomal sex, your hormonal sex, these can differ, and that's okay. That's just a fact about human biology.
When a trans person undergoes hormone replacement therapy, it changes many aspects of their biological sex. HRT gives you a hormonal profile identical to that of the sex you transition to, which induces real biological changes in your body.
You can change your hormones. You just take exogenous hormones, bioidentical hormones. The hormones that trans people take are chemical by chemical, identical to the hormones that are naturally produced in cis people's bodies. This induces real biological change in your body. How does that happen? Let's talk about it. So everybody's DNA, everybody's cells, regardless of if they were born with whatever biological sex characteristics, your cells have hormone receptors. These hormone receptors tell the cells, if I have hormone A, I'm going to do action A. If I have hormone B, I'm going to do action B. And so you can kind of think about like this actual DNA as like code. It's like, if this is my input, if say testosterone is my input, then produce androgen outputs. If my input is estrogen, produce these female outputs. And so if a trans person takes HRT, they change their hormonal profile, their cells stop reading the testosterone input, stop doing the testosterone-related actions, their cells start doing the estrogen-related actions because now estrogen is a dominant hormone in their body. This is what's known as gene expression. It has been well studied in the scientific literature that hormones alter your gene expression. That's why they change things about your body, like your skin texture, for example. If you have an estrogen-dominant endocrine system, your skin's going to be a lot softer because female cells that have the gene expression of estrogen, tells the skin cells, hey, be soft and form in this pattern. It's very fascinating.
For trans women on HRT, we develop real breasts. Also, female skin texture, female body odor, female body fat distribution, female hair patterns in both body hair and head hair, female muscle mass, female bone density, and even female bone structure if we start HRT early enough.
Yes, these are all things that are entirely dependent on the endocrinological gene expression of your cells. So if you take HRT, these are things that are directly caused by gene expression, by sexually dimorphic gene expression. You can change your sexually dimorphic gene expression through HRT, hence you can change all of these attributes. That's just a fact.
HRT also affects fertility, meaning that it changes the majority of your biological sex characteristics. A trans person in HRT ultimately obtains an intersex collection of biological traits that places them more in line with the sex they transition to than the sex they were assigned at birth.
Yes, this is also true. In this video specifically, I broke down sex categories into chromosomes, reproduction, hormones, anatomy. So hormones, you can obviously change that by taking HRT. Anatomy changes in response to HRT. And moving over infertility from, say, somebody who used to be a reproductive male but is now infertile, they have changed their reproductive sex by making themselves infertile. They have literally changed a majority of their biological sex characteristics.
And it's important to classify us as such. For example, my doctor needs to know that I'm hormonally female because my risk of heart disease, bone disease, and most cancers is in line with females due to the reality of my biological sex.
Trans people have unique medical needs. We develop things like breast cancer at the rates similar to cis women, not the rates similar to cis men. Also, prostate cancer. Trans women develop prostate cancer at astronomically small rates. Meanwhile, prostate cancer is, I believe, the most common cancer in like cis men. That is also just factually true. If you take hormones, it changes your biology. Changing your biology changes your medical needs. Who would be surprised? Medicine has effects. That's literally all this video is about.
Trans people aren't denying or erasing biological sex. We just prove that it's more complicated and changeable than we previously thought.
Also just factual. I'm acknowledging that biological sex is real, but here's some things that you can change. That was the video. Completely factual. Nothing said in this video is controversial in an academic sense. But just you wait until we talk about what's in this video from a Libs of TikTok sense. Blair White actually commented on my video by saying, "What the fuck, Dobby is trans now? Ha ha ha. Wow, attacking my appearance. Such a good and compelling argument." And so I responded to Blair White, "Do you think it's productive to make fun of my appearance instead of discussing the topic at hand? I'd love to have a conversation with you on this topic if you disagree, unless you can only stand behind cowardly insults, of course." She has not responded to me. I don't think she wants to actually debate the facts. I think that she just wants to insult people's appearance that she doesn't like, just like Libs of TikTok does. They don't care about the facts. They don't care about the truth. They care about the ends of their political goal. And that's sad. Conservatives refuse to debate leftists? True. Next song is called "Please Don't Cut Off My Dick Because I Like the Color Pink." When in this video did I say that liking the color pink like makes you woman or like means that you're gonna have your penis chopped off? This has absolutely nothing to do with the video. I just talked about biology. It does not matter how many cross-gender hormones they take along with a cocktail of other drugs. They cannot change their DNA that is hardwired to be the same sex they were from conception. No amount of surgery or use of preferred pronouns will change that either. I literally never claimed that hormones change your DNA. I never claimed that hormones change your chromosomes. Hormones do change your gene expression. They actually do affect how your DNA is read and processed, but they don't change the DNA itself. I never made that claim. This person is arguing against something I never said. 1,000 likes. Weird, isn't it, how the things that males can acquire, clothing, hair, makeup, mannerisms, cosmetic surgery, hormones, make someone a woman, but the things that males can't acquire, menstruation, pregnancy, reproductive organs, do not. I never claimed that. I never claimed that having boobies or like wearing a dress or like having long hair makes someone a woman. This person is making this up. I never claimed that. They're arguing against something I never claimed. 3,500 likes, 700 retweets. Here we have the classic, your bones, when archaeologists dig you up 100 years from now, will still biologically classify you as a male-female no matter what drugs you took or who you pretended to be. Hashtag facts. If you paid attention to the video, I said hormones change your bone structure if you start early enough. You literally can change your bone structure to be in line with the sex you transition to. That's factual. We've actually literally dug up trans people's bodies and identified them as the sex they transition to because hormones change your biology. Like, this is something that's actually happened in the past. This talking point is wrong, and it shows they didn't even listen to the video. You can identify how you want. You can't change your DNA or biological sex, nor can you grow a womb and ovaries if born male or a penis and testicles if born female. Wait, what? Testicles if born female? I guess this girl gets it. We've entered a modern dark age. Science, logic, reasoning, and the arts are being sacrificed for feelings. I didn't talk about feelings once in this video. I simply talked about biology. Why is this person bringing feelings into it? Person insinuating that I'm Jewish? I'm not Jewish, but okay. Physical sex is generally a combination of chromosomes, hormones, primary and secondary sex characteristics, and reproducibility. 3 out of 5 are changeable. If you don't think that's enough, that's fine, but it at least seems up for discussion. Yeah, this person This person literally understood exactly what I was saying in the video. 9 likes, 50 replies. I'm sure the comments are angry that this person actually understood what I said. Lies, lies, lies. So you can repeat the word lies, but that doesn't actually disprove anything I said. Like, what did I say that's wrong? Nobody on here has disproven anything I've said. They've either argued against things I didn't say, which, okay, you can play pretend if you want to play pretend. I'm not playing pretend. I'm just discussing facts about biology. If you are a male taking estrogen, it's not hormone replacement therapy. Terminology matters. So do intact endocrine systems. What is this comment? If you replace testosterone with estrogen, that sounds like replacement to me. That's what HRT does. Also, your endocrine system remains intact. Like, you have intact endocrine systems that can handle both estrogen and testosterone. Every human has this. That's why you can take hormones. Like, they just don't understand how hormones work. Exactly. Chromosomes will always betray you. You'll always be either XX female or XY male. They literally contradict themselves in the next sentence. They say you'll always be either XX female or XY male, but there are a few exceptions. Do you know what always means? I think the word you're looking for is you'll generally be either XX female or XY male. I would agree with that statement. That's factually true. But you don't get to say always. I also never claimed that you can change your chromosomal sex. I never claimed that. So thanks for arguing against something I didn't say. Female body odor? Sure, is that what you call it? Okay, so for people that don't know female body odor, I guess this guy's never been around like women before, but male sweat and female sweat smells differently. It actually does. This is most notable in like crotch sweat. You know how like ball sweat and pussy sweat smells different? If you're like a trans woman and you have sweaty balls, it smells like pussy. It smells like pussy sweat. Like that's actually one of the things that kind of surprised me about like medically transitioning. I don't have ball sweat anymore. Like it smells like pussy sweat. And I looked into it and it's true. It actually does change the way your sweat smells. Very fascinating. I think this person knows about body odor. I got the big nose. Of course I know about body odor. Okay, that's actually funny. Sigh. HRT is for menopausal women. It is not the same as cross-sex hormones. Medicine can have multiple uses. So if medicine, such as estrogen pills, are helpful for postmenopausal women, they're also helpful for trans women, you can have a medicine that has multiple uses. For example, Tylenol, ibuprofen, these medicines, they reduce pain. They also reduce fever. They can take care of headaches. They can do lots of things. You can take medicine for different reasons. It's okay. This person says the two sexes are defined by potential reproductive role, whether a body potentially produces small or large gametes. Everyone involved in pregnancy knows this. No one can change sex. No, we actually don't define sex based off of potential reproductive role. We define it based off of phenotype. The basic biology textbook I cite specifically says we define sex based off of phenotype. The reason why we do this is because when we're determining what somebody's sex is, we typically just look at what's external. When doctors are deciding to put male or female on a birth certificate, for example, they just look at the baby's genitals. They don't look for like testicles or ovaries. And actually, if we were to define sex based off a potential reproductive role, we would be misclassifying women with complete androgen sensitivity syndrome. So complete androgen insensitivity is an interesting intersex condition where someone who has XY chromosomes, who would typically develop in the male pathway, they have another gene that causes it so that their hormone receptor, their testosterone receptor, simply cannot utilize testosterone at all. And so essentially what their body does is it converts excess testosterone into estrogen. These people, they have testicles, but in the womb, they develop in the female direction. So essentially what they do is they have testicles that produce testosterone. The body can't use testosterone. The body converts into estrogen, and they're born with a vagina. These people actually sometimes even have prostates. They don't have a uterus, they don't have ovaries, they don't have a cervix. Their internal sex organs are male, but they can't utilize testosterone. And we classify them as female. Their medical needs are mostly female. If biological sex was defined by potential reproductive role, these women with testicles would be closer to being reproductive males. But we classify them as female because their phenotype is female, because their medical needs are more in line with females. Hormonally, they're female, phenotypically, they're female, and that's why we classify them as female. Trans women are hormonally female, they are phenotypically female, if they medically transition, of course. Somebody that has complete androgen sensitivity, biologically very similar to a trans woman who is medically transitioned. Like I said, people with complete androgen sensitivity, they have testicles, they have XY chromosomes, they sometimes even have a prostate, they don't have a womb, they don't have ovaries, they don't have a cervix, yet we classify them as female and they live lives typically as women. Can't change this? Did they watch the same video? Because you can change your bone structure. HRT literally does change bone structure. Here is 2 peer-reviewed research articles. This one shows volumetric and aerial bone parameters in trans females. And they found that it changed. They present lower trabecular volumetric bone density and areometric bone density at the lumbar spine, total hip and distal radius, and smaller coracal bone size as compared to matched controls. HRT literally changes your bone structure. This is just factually true. There was also this really great one that assessed trans teenagers, and what they found is that the development of the hip bone geometry during gender-affirming hormone treatment in transgender adolescents resembles that of the experienced gender when pubertal suppression is started in early puberty. So essentially, if you take cross-sex hormones and or puberty blockers, such that you never go through a puberty of the sex that you were assigned at birth, you will develop bone structure that is typical of the sex you transition to. That's what this peer-reviewed research article shows. So this person didn't watch the video, they didn't even want to learn, they're just wrong. You can change your bone structure. That's just factual. We got a reply from Buck Angel. OMG, what planet do these wingnuts live on? Can't wait until they have to see a doctor. Buck, if you see a doctor, many of your medical needs are in line with males because you take testosterone. Many of my medical needs are in line with females because I take estrogen. I didn't say all of them. For example, reproductive health care of trans people is often atypical of the gender they transition to, but all these other sex characteristics, you would be more in line with the sex you transition to. So Buck Angel's just wrong about medicine. Comment L from Buck, unfortunately, yeah. More and more, the doctors agree with them. Yes, because everything I said in this video was factual. That's why doctors agree with it. You notice they make no mention of the fact that as a man, this person has 0 female reproductive organs. Everything he references is superficial and subjective. Superficial and subjective? No, these are actually, measurable. You can measure bone structure, like we did in those peer-reviewed research articles. You can actually measure, the softness of people's skin. You can measure, body fat distribution. You can measure people's proportions. That's not superficial and subjective. There are objective measurements you can take. Female skin. So skin cells, actually orient themselves differently depending on whether or not your genes are expressing male or female based off of if you have a testosterone or estrogen-dominant endocrine system. Yes, okay, yeah. Specifically, the way that collagen bonds in the hypodermis is different in male and female skin cells because of estrogen versus testosterone. If you're a trans female who takes estrogen, it causes your cells to stop doing this and to start doing this. And that's why your skin feels like woman's skin. That's factual. It is objectively measurable. So there we go. No one is assigned sex at birth. It is observed. So the reason why we use the term assigned sex at birth is because your sex can change in many aspects, and also because intersex people often are surgically intervened on without their consent to assign them a sex. It is actually still the medical standard practice for intersex babies that have ambiguous genitalia. It's the medical standard practice to correct those ambiguous genitals by making them either look like a vagina or look like a penis. I think that's horrible. I don't think that we should be performing irreversible surgery on intersex minors that can't consent. They have 0 capacity to communicate or consent. I mean, trans teenagers have the capacity to give informed consent to things like puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, through the triple consent process of getting themselves on board, their therapist on board, therapist letters, doctor's letters, and getting their parents on board. That is a model of informed consent that teenagers can apply, and this is pretty standard medical practice. Things like antidepressants, ADHD meds, we allow triple consent for teenagers. Now, I think that if an intersex person wants to, have their genitals made to look more like male genitals or female genitals, that's fine, but it should be based off of their want, not based off of, we're going to do this without their consent when they're a baby. That's messed up, yet conservatives don't even bat an eye when intersex babies' genitals are altered without their consent. It's crazy. It's a crazy world we live in. So intersex babies in particular, they are often medically altered, assigned a sex based off of a doctor's opinion as to what they should be, which is gross, and I think that's a horrible practice that we should be moving away from. Those are a couple of the reasons why we use the term assigned sex at birth. This should be classified as misinformation and banned. What did I say that's false? Can you explain what's false? Obviously they can't. Playing God never ends well. You could literally make this claim about all of modern medicine. Oh, you're taking chemotherapy to cure your cancer? playing God never ends well. God wanted you to die of cancer. I think that's a shitty thing to say. I think that we should use modern medicine to make people happy. And so, seems to work pretty well for trans people. The medical literature absolutely shows it improves their mental health and overall well-being. So let's go where the medical literature shows helps people. Chromosome test doesn't lie. I never said that chromosomes weren't real. I even mentioned that chromosomes are a biological sex characteristic. And I never said you can change your chromosomes. I acknowledge chromosomes are real. They want to be real women so bad. Good thing I am a real woman. With that nose, she has to be Jewish. Is that the state of discourse in America right now? They're like just figuring out who's Jewish based off of their nose? I'm not Jewish. Like they're wrong. But is that the state of discourse? Is this a female? That's a weird way to talk about people. This person and the woke LGBT activists make things a lot tougher for... How do I make your life tougher? How does the existence of trans biology make your life tougher? What? Y'all, do you think that this person's life has actually been made tangibly harder by a gay person or a trans person existing? How? I would love to see them point to, like, any way the existence of LGBT people makes your life a lot tougher. How does it affect you? This is absolute snowflakery. People can say whatever, but in the end, when you die, we will be able to tell why only 2 genders. Oh, that's right, because that's all there is. So these are things that are true on average. A lot of these things actually can change with HRT, fun fact, like we said earlier. And there are also intersex people that are in between these skeletal structures. There are male skeletons that look more like female skeletons. There are female skeletons that look more like male skeletons. Actually, about like 30% of skeletons we dig up, you can't really definitively say one way or another which sex it is. In about 2/3 of those, we kind of have a decent guess, but we acknowledge that the guess might be wrong. And in another like 1/3 of those cases, like 10% of skeletons we dig up, it's pretty ambiguous. Scientists are actually unsure of the sex of skeletons, of about 10% of those that we dig up, because there is a great deal of overlap between male and female skeletal structure. That's just how our skeletons tend to be. But obviously, there are differences on average. Nobody's denying that. You can change some of these things. We believe in science, just not the chromosome thing. We don't agree with that one. I literally said that chromosomes were real. I literally said that chromosomes were real. Where is this person getting this idea from? I literally said that chromosomal sex was a sex category in that very video. So that was Libs of TikTok stealing my content and the comment section being an absolute crap show. Literally, nobody offered a rebuttal to any of the claims I made in that video. There was not a single rebuttal to any of my claims in that video. It was simply people arguing against things I didn't say or attacking my appearance. That's the state of the discourse on, like, the Libs of TikTok comment section. They don't care about facts. They don't care about logic. They just care about dunking on trans people.